Okay, so I've been strolling around left-wing media, the propagandist, and it looks like they're about to the Biden campaign is about to make a shift in their messaging. We've been hearing for quite a while now that they believe it's the messaging is the problem with his low approval rating, and it's not, his policies. But they're switching the messaging, and I'll catch you guys up on some of that and what I think they're planning. I think it's more of a he's going to go back to the old messaging from 2020 of he's going to be the great uniter after spending 3.5 years dividing the country, waging social warfare on so-called MAGA and ultra MAGA. Now he is going to claim that he will be the great uniter and that he's going to bring happiness, peace, and prosperity, and we're all going to be proud to live in a great nation after he has, well, you know what he's done. So anyway, we'll get to some of that later. But I caught this video of John Kennedy, who is definitely one of the most entertaining and I think one of the just best senators in Congress. I like to listen to him. I like to watch him grill people on the Senate floor. He's just a lot of fun, and he just has a way of expressing things that I think is so warming and embracing. So, anyways, let's get on to this, and this is a pretty good. It's only like 4 minutes long, so we'll listen to what he has to say and what's just about what's just happened with Biden and the border.
Senator Kennedy.
Okay, I want you to listen up. Here's the drill. President Biden is in trouble politically.
No joke.
He's polling right up there with fungal infections. Part of the reason for that is that he gave in to the loon wing of his party, and he dissolved the southern border. Now, 5 months before an election, he has to appear to be willing to do something about it, hence this executive order. And he expects you to report this epiphany that he has had, take what the White House is telling you, balance it on your noses like trained seals, and report it uncritically. For 3 years, we have watched President Biden push on a door that has been clearly marked full. He's mismanaged Congress, COVID, the national debt, the economy, inflation, crime, Afghanistan, Iran, the war in Gaza, the war in Ukraine, and now, of course, the border. And every time, I think the president has hit rock bottom. He has managed to find a shovel and continue to dig. Hence, this executive order. And I think that's what the American people see. The first question I would ask President Biden is this. It's a little...
If you're not familiar with the executive order, I haven't really dug into it too much, but he's issued an executive order now. The way I'm seeing it pushed is like, well, because Republicans wouldn't sign the, greatest border bill in all of the history of America. I'm forced to have to do this, playing like he's going to use this executive power as a victim of Republicans dragging their feet, which isn't the case. We all know why the Republicans wouldn't sign the so-called border bill. Is because it didn't do anything to stop the flow of migrants from the border. What it actually did was guarantee that the president couldn't do anything at the border until after 5,000 illegals had crossed the border. And after that, then they were supposed to have to use, it was supposed to be, they said closed, but actually they would just have to then only be taken at the ports of entry, which is crap, because when they come across the border, if they deem it a life and death situation, they would still take this. So it essentially would have done nothing except for guarantee that the next president, get that, I think that's very important. It would have guaranteed that the next president couldn't do anything at the border. He couldn't do deportations. He couldn't close the border. He couldn't limit the traffic across the border. So it was a guarantee. What it essentially was locked the border open. If you read through it, as I did, I read through 400 pages of the legal document, and I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a legal expert, so it was a little challenging, but I did read through it, and I think I got the main gist of it, and I saw what they were trying to do, and I saw why the House won't push that through. So, anyways, we'll get back to it. Anyway, now he wants to pretend. Joe Biden wants to pretend like he's going to do something at the border, like, oh, I'm going to have to stop this because now it's a disaster. Well, they've been telling us for 3 years. We've heard Mayorkas stand up there before Congress. We've heard Joe Biden say it. We've heard all of the left-wing propagandist media say it. The border is secure. We've heard that a million times. The border is secure. Mayorkas himself said it a million times to Congress. So anyways, sorry, let's get back to it.
Little late, isn't it, Mr. President? It's a little late. You can't make this cat walk backwards. The president's border policies have allowed 8 million people to come into our country illegally. If you try to come into our country today illegally, you are a sucker.
He says 8 million, but that's illegally 8 million. There are also about another 8 million that are, what do we call, asylum seekers or whatever, who most of the asylum seekers aren't actually seeking asylum, but they are well aware that if they come across the border and say they are seeking asylum, it will get them here for 2 to 3 years, however long it takes for their court date to come up. So, so when he says 8 million illegals, that's just 8 million actual illegals that we know of. There are what they call gotaways as well. To put this in perspective, some people say, well, we've always had a problem with the border. That may be true. And I'll bring up some graphs in another video, but for instance, under President Trump's the last year, or I think it averaged about 250,000 illegals per year, or 200,000 border crossers, not illegals, border crossers, 250 to 400,000, somewhere in there. And it had never been higher than that. But now since Biden has been in, as he said, we have 8 million illegals, not counting the ones claiming asylum, which at some point will probably be denied. Most of them, usually like 90%, are denied. And then we'll be stuck. What are we going to do with them? We don't know, because they're here, and then it's a challenge and a difficulty to get them out. So
you're a sucker. All you have to do is present yourself at the southern border. Now, For 3 years, President Biden told us all, there is no crisis at the southern border for reasons clearly stated on the teleprompter. And his plan to deal with the crisis at the border was to pretend that there wasn't a crisis at the border. Some of you reported that. Some of you didn't. Well, when the American people figured it out, because they may be poorer under President Biden, but they're not stupid, the Biden administration shifted its strategy. It then said, well, we know there's a crisis at the border, but we don't have any authority to fix it. That didn't work either, because the American people aren't cell deep stupid. So now he has decided to tell you that he has been born again. He has had an epiphany. He is now a border hawk. And that's what he wants you to report. Look, you can cut the hypocrisy with a knife. You know, I have seen the good side of politics, but I've also seen the dark side. I spent 25 years in the major leagues of Louisiana politics before I was sent down to the minors here in Washington. I have seen the good side, but I've seen the dark side. And this is one of the most cynical things that I have ever seen a politician attempt to do 5 months before an election. It is insulting. It is cheap. It is contemptuous. And the American people see that. And I hope you do too.
It is contemptuous. It's cheap, and Americans should see through that. I'm sure a lot won't. Many people aren't probably even aware of what's going on because the media lies so much. And I think especially with older generations even older than me, which I'm no spring chick, but that get most of their news from, still from cable news networks and things like that. I think they don't really get informed as to what's going on. So when the messaging changes on the left-wing propaganda stations, CNN, MSNBC, CBS, all these channels shift their messaging to portray Biden as really trying to do something for the border to stop this flow of migrants across the border. They're just going to follow right along with that, and they're going to believe like, oh yeah, well, he's doing a great job now. He had to do it all by himself because those damn Republicans. But anyways, yeah, I just wanted to see what he had said, wanted to share that with everybody, and hopefully Americans will see through that. It's a political stunt. Obviously, it's a clear political stunt. It's something that he's doing that I believe the courts won't allow. So they're going to stop him real quick, and he's going to throw up his hands and say, oh, it's not my fault, I tried. But that's not the case. I think he knows. He knows that the courts are going to stop him, and that's why he's choosing this path. And the path he's choosing, I think, is he's going to cut asylum seekers. Not illegals, I think. I could be wrong. Now, so feel free to update me. Let me know in the comments if you know more about this. I haven't really researched or looked into what his executive order plans to do at this point, but just a little snippets that I've caught here and there. I think he wants to stop asylum seekers. Well, I don't think you can do that. I don't know, but I don't think they can do that. Like I said, let me know if you have more information on that. I'd love to hear from you, and if you have something to inform me, or if you agree with what I've said, you disagree with what I've said, let me know in the comments. I want to talk to you. I believe that open and honest debate is the one of the foundations, the hallmarks of American culture and society. It's what makes us a great country. And I'm happy to talk with people who disagree with me, who agree with me. I'll have a conversation with you, and I'll remain respectful, and I hope that you would too. So anyways, let me know in the comments what you think. Leave a like if you got anything from this, and subscribe to the channel. So you don't miss future videos. I'm still a little new to this. I'm figuring it out, but we'll get better over time. So yeah, subscribe and come on back and check us out. Later.